Hello, Kitchen Stitchers. This is Arlene and Chef Dave, and today is Tuesday, July 30th. We're almost to August. We've got one more day, and we're happy to join you again. I have a ton of stuff to show you. I'm really excited about something I'm going to share with you for the first time ever. A big deal for me. And so we're going to jump off with David. He's got a quick thing on chicken. So it's one of our favorites.
Not just any chicken, but beer can chicken.
And his hair is getting really long. You can tell he's not back to school yet. I went back to work last week.
Get a haircut maybe next week.
Got to get a school cut. Anyway, chicken.
Chicken, not just chicken, but beer can chicken. Beer can chicken started out somewhere. Somebody got the bright idea to take a half a can of beer and shove it up the south side of a chicken while they're roasting it out on a grill. And what that does is when the beer starts to heat up and boil, it provides steam and moisture, and it keeps the inside of the chicken nice and moist. Problem being, the chicken tended to fall over a lot. So some people came up with several ideas. There's one idea that came out that was like a rack that unfolded, and it would hold a beer can in the middle of it, and then you would take, like this, and you would take your chicken and just push it down over the rack in the beer can, and put that on your oven pan or your grill or however you were going to cook it. You can do beer can chicken on your grill, or you can do it in the oven. And some people came out with some better ideas. This is one. It's a stainless steel. It's not quite as big as a beer can, but you can fit better than half a can of beer in there, and that's about all it will take to give you a fair amount of moisture into your chicken.
I'm just going to say, if you've not had beer can chicken, it will quickly become your favorite because it makes the chicken so incredibly moist and tender. I used to hate chicken because I hope my mom's not watching. Whenever she would make chicken, it was so dry. And most people tend to dry out chicken, but wow, you can't do that with this beer can chicken. It's really good.
Chicken.
I can't stand it. I didn't like it growing up. I didn't like chicken at all. Now it's one of our favorites.
So anyway, yeah, there's this kind. There's a few other kinds. I got this really cool, fancy kind. I got this for Christmas. This goes on my Traeger pellet grill. But it's ceramic, and it's got the beer can chicken recipe on the bottom side.
Yeah, okay.
They can't read it anyway. It's too little.
Well, they could. Let's show it real close. And I don't know if it's backwards for you guys, but those are the directions that are on the bottom of this. And you said it came with our grill, which is a Traeger pellet grill, which is right here. You can see the Traeger.
So, anyway, getting your chicken ready. You can just take a chicken and stick it on here with some beer in it and roast it. 400 degrees works well. It should take a little bit less than an hour. You want an internal temperature of about 150 or so, maybe a little more, depending on how big your chicken is. I won't do the Henway joke, but anyway. You can do that, or you can make it even better. You prep your chicken, make sure it's thawed. If you use frozen chicken, if you use fresh chicken, even better. But make sure it's dry after it's thawed. Wipe it down with a paper towel, and first thing you want to do is to remove the wishbone. I know kids out there will be upset because they can't break the wishbone, but remove the wishbone out of the top of the chicken. It's up around where the neck used to be, and you either break it out of there. Well, most people, they just break it out of there. You have to cut a little bit of the meat away, and just pop it out with your fingers. And what that does is it lets the breast meat kind of expand a little bit more, and it makes it a lot easier to remove the meat after it's been cooked. You don't have to cut around them.
I didn't know that. I never knew why you did that.
So, the other thing is you can put all kinds of stuff on the outside of chicken, and I recommend after it's dry, wipe down with paper towel. Rub some olive oil around the outside of it, around the skin, and then you put your seasonings, whatever kind of seasonings you like. I usually use like garlic powder and salt, and maybe seasoned salt and pepper, and you can use herbs, you know, but you don't want to use something that's going to burn if it's on the outside.
You got the new seasoning, the good
Yeah, that
stuff
stuff. Good,
from
good.
Jungle Jim.
Yeah, that stuff, and that's really good too. But that's it adds a sweetness, but it needs a little bit of salt to it too. So I add a little seasoning salt to that. Okay, so what that's going to do is going to give you a crispy, salty outside skin, which I think is like the best part of the chicken actually. But the idea is that you're going to cook all the fat out from underneath the skin, and for the most part, it does cook out. But you're not getting any seasoning into the meat. So one of the easiest things that I've found to do is to roll the chicken up on its back so that the legs are going away from you, and take your fingers and stick them underneath the skin and kind of open up
Little air pocket.
a cavity between the skin and the breast meat. And then you can take some butter and mix some herbs into it, and a little, maybe some salt or whatever seasonings you like on the outside of your chicken, and mix them up. And then you take your nice big tablespoon and put a big scoop of that stuff in the spoon and shove it down in between the breast meat and the skin, and make sure when you pull the spoon out, make sure it stays in there, and that'll, as it cooks, that'll kind of melt away, and it
Permeates.
bastes the breast meat. And the breast meat is that's the meat. If any part of it's going to dry out, it's going to be the breast. So you want to keep some kind of fat rolling over that or into it.
Although for those of you who get grossed out by touching chicken skin, that is not necessary for beer can chicken to taste good. It actually is better the way he does it, but it's still really good if that grosses you out like it does me. So I'm very thankful to have the chef to help me with that.
Again, that's really the only way you're going to get any kind of seasoning flavor into the actual meat, because the seasoning doesn't really go through the skin
Yeah.
of the chicken.
Well, great.
And yeah, just make sure it's done. Good way to make sure it's done is to grab onto the leg and pull it up. If you can hear the joint start to pop loose, it's probably done. But check it with a thermometer anyway.
Cool. Thank you.
That's it for me.
Okay.
As far as beer, what kind of beer you use? Whatever kind of beer you want. I'll use a darker beer because we had a lot of it out in my cabinet in my garage, and I'm just trying to get rid of it. But I've also used hard apple cider, which that puts an interesting flavor into it as well.
Yeah,
So
that's all yummy.
anyway, you got a lot of stuff to do. So
We're having chicken tonight for dinner. So,
I'm outta here.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I have a ton. So I went back to work last week. And I have to laugh because while he was talking, you probably saw me eat one of my favorite nonpareils. And that reminded me of a time when I was visiting my daughter in college, and they had this, she went to Indiana University, and they had this really amazing Blue Boy chocolate place close to there. And we stopped, every time I go up and hang out with her, we would go there. And one day they had just made these chocolate truffles, and that was her favorite. So I bought her a chocolate truffle, and we're walking along. She put the truffle in her mouth and ate part of it, and I turned and looked, and she started to smile, and she was covered with chocolate all over her teeth. And I think we laughed for at least 5 minutes after that. So I'm hoping I don't have that problem. But anyway, I went back to work on last week, and so I was a finishing fiend before I went back to work. So I've been working on the hands-on design or celebrations, I think is what they call it. And so I've been doing one of those a month. I get them shipped to me automatically by Beach Cottage Stitchers. And I was going to show this for my July because this is the way I decided to finish them. So it was pretty easy. God bless David. He did the cutting of the foam board for me. And so I pinned the foam board, and then I secured the flap and stuff in the back. But I didn't like the way it looked on my clipboard without some color behind it. So I've told you before that I am a stitcher and not a sewer. And so pinking shears is a non-stitcher's or sewer's best friend. So I got some coordinated felt and I pinked it away to make a nice little color background, and I like that splash of color. So I thought I would show you my finishes. So there's January. Got a little twisted there. January, and then February, and then March, and then April. I debated whether doing purple or blue, but I have purple and blue on the next couple. And so there was May. I love the violet, the lavender with that. And then June. And you saw July, and then there's August. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think they look really nice, and I like that pop of color. So that turned out really well. I did finish the FaithWorks box, and I decided to do it a little differently. I wanted to do a different color with the blue up here and the red in the other corners and the white in the middle on One Nation Under God, because that was a fun one. So that's what my finish looks like. And I think I showed you, I don't know if I did or not, but she had an extra in here of a spool. So I stitched the spool on both sides, and then I got an old spool and put that in here. So, and she had a little sheep on that, so I just put them all together. So that's my FaithWorks design finish, and I absolutely love that. I think Nancy is just amazing the way she does some of this stuff. That's so much fun. I've run out of frame space, so having something fun like this is all for me. So I love that. And that was really easy to paint, and it was a lot of fun. So that was a couple of finishes. I got some finishes back that I have a friend from, like, one of my oldest and dearest friends from way back in 7th grade when we moved over here, and she is an amazing seamstress. She's done my wedding gown, she's done my daughter's wedding gown, she's done friends of mine, all their wedding gowns and of kids and family, and she does an amazing job. And so about a year or so ago, she finished this for me, and then I had given her last year one to finish, so it all goes on this topper. And so she finally got that back to me, so that was about a year ago. She does a lot with dancing competitions, so she's always like hand beating and doing all this stuff and creating all these amazing costumes, so she doesn't have a lot of time. So that she got this back to me, and then she did this one. And these were, I believe all of these were Sam Sarah designs. So I had done this one, and she got this back for me as well. And this one was the Katie Dids and Cone Flowers by Sam Sarah. And so I just used their standard fabric. And then we went to Joann's Fabric and picked the coordinating fabrics to go with it. So that turned out really nice. So I was really excited to get that back. So that was fun. She also, I have to share something later with an idea that she gave me. She is so incredibly creative when it comes to stuff. I've worked with her when we did some of our church kid musicals, and last year we did VBS together, and she comes up with these costume ideas out of nothing, like just a ball cap or a sweatshirt, and she's just so creative and so amazing, and I just love the way she thinks. But anyway, my cousin, I had finished, I think I showed you a while ago, this design from my cousin who is my daughter's age, who just had her second son, and so she finished the pillow for me. So Patton was born, and she had, you can't really see it, but this is super soft, and it's the same color blue as this. So that turned out really nice, and I think this will be a nice little cuddle pillow for him because that's so super soft with the little stars. I just think that's adorable. So she did a really, really nice job with that. I finished this. This was the Bent Creek Fall Friends photo booth series. So my local needle shop was able to find that for me, and so I was able to finish it. I didn't put the eyeballs on the pumpkins. I don't know. I just like the eyeballs on the two of them, so that was my call, but it's very cute. And I'm currently working on, aside from something that I'm going to show you that I did that I'm really excited about. So anyway, here's the Halloween that I'm working on right now. Happy Halloween. That's as far as I've gotten. I started working on that last weekend. So that's this one. That's Satsuma Street. Obviously, I'm in love with Jody and what she does with all the colors in Satsuma Street. So I'm hooked with her. I love her. So that's what I'm working on now. And I think next what I'm going to be working on will be this Barnwood buttons. So this one will be fun to hang up. I will definitely work to get this hung up. But I decided I didn't want to do the brown. So I went to Seraphim Fabrics. And I got the blue, which goes more with my decor. And I think she might have this listed in here, but when I get it finished, I'll tell you what that was. So that is some of the finishing stuff, but I'm really excited about this. So I've had this idea in my head for a while about something that I haven't seen out there. So all of you who are stitchers know what an ort is. For those of you who are not familiar with that term, an ort is actually a word, and it basically refers to this little remnant thread. So when you're stitching and you cut off, I'm sure I have one on the back of here that I didn't cut off yet. So on the back of your design, like here. So on the back of your design where you have that little thread and you cut that off, that's called an ort. And I don't know if you're like me and you're sitting in your favorite comfy chair or wherever you like to stitch, you don't want to have that stuff hanging out on your chair or on your table next to you. So usually you'll have a little container or a bag or something that you'll throw those little ort pieces in. So I was thinking a lot. I will tend to eat gum, and I do that because I don't want bad breath, and so it helps me keep my teeth clean. So I use sugarless gum, and they've been coming out with these large boxes. So you've got like Vibes, and you've Mentos are now coming out with one. Eclipse has one. See, they're round, and there's even these ice cube ones, and they're square at the top. But these stickers on the outside are really easy to come off. They'll just pull right off. And I thought, those would make great ort box. So this summer, I spent time designing ort box patterns. And I put together a series of these, and I'm curious. I love you all. You are a great sounding board, and I'm curious as to whether you think this will be a good thing or not. So here's kind of what it looks like. So that says Ort Summer, and it's a sunshine. And then I have this little band that I created to go around. Then you can make it tighter. But I didn't affix it like you could affix it permanently. But I wanted to be able to change it out by season. So I have Sunburnt Nose and Sandy Toes is the summer one. And I've also, in this packet that I put together for instructions on how to do all this stuff, for those of you who didn't want to do an ort box, I put the design into just a regular small. And on this one, I wanted to mount it. So when I was out at Joann's Fabrics, they have this fluid art paint. Basically, you can take this deco art or those little regular acrylics and mix it with silicone, but this is pre-mixed and these were on sale, and they just happen to have the right colors. So I did this on Sunday, and basically you mix your colors. So you put I put a little bit of this and a little bit of red in a small cup, and I would do red and then the orange and then red and the orange and a little bit more red and orange, and then you just pour it and then tilt it so that it creates this design. Super easy, dries within a half a day, and I just bought this little canvas to put it on, and I like it kind of with the messy edge. So that's what I did. So that was kind of fun. So that was the summer one that I did, and then here is of course I told you I'm a stitcher and not a sewer. Pinking shears are my best friend. So I created the band for the autumn one. And it says Happy Sights Chilly Nights. And here's the topper for it. A little maple leaf. And then I got smarter about how to finish this. So you can see on the first couple I did, I was trying to tuck and secure this on the backs of about a 2-inch little round. And then I realized it's really better to do a running stitch and then pull it tight. And there's my spring one. So the spring says Gentle Showers, Pretty Flowers. So there's the band. And then the winter was this little top hat with a little sprig of holly and some snowflakes. And this one says Sparkly Snow, Happy Glow. And then I created 2 holiday ones. So if you have stitchy friends you want to give an easy, quick gift to create, this one says Happy Holidays. And here's its top. And then I have one that says Burr, and you don't have to write the ort, you could put the year there. And this one says Bright and Brisk. So what I decided to do was just to use a little bit of Velcro on the top here, so you could very easily switch them out. And then the top opens just like this to put your ort box or your ort threads in. So I don't know, what do you think? And I figured I would be happy to sell these designs for $5. Is that good? And I figured if you wanted me to kit this so that it has the fabric, now that was a 30 count Jobelin, and with a coordinated felt and the thread, I could do that in the little circle. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you. My friend who's a genius sewer. So I was telling her what I was doing, and I told her I wanted to put a little bit of padding underneath this, and she said, I thought this is brilliant. She said, Arlene, the easiest way to do that is take a panty liner, because it's got the sticky on the back, and cut that in your circle. And so I took a panty liner and I cut 2 circles, one this size and one slightly smaller, to do the little bit of padding underneath there. So anyway, I'm really excited about it. I hope you are. You could also use one of these little icebreaker things and mount it on the top here as well. So lots of options. Really, they're quick and easy to stitch. And I hope that you all find them fun. So that was my summer design, honestly inspired by Nancy with Faith Works and the box there. Just something fun and different. And I went online. There's a pattern maker tool that's online called Stitch Fiddle. I think it should be called Fiddle Stitch, but it's Stitch Fiddle. And I used that, and it was a lot of fun to do. It took a lot of time to put the directions together and to get the pictures. And I even created a little logo for Kitchen Stitchers. I think I had created that a little earlier. I might have shared that with you. But it's got the directions, it's got the charts, it's got the tips for how I did some of this. And anyway, I'd like to hear what you think. Also, let's see, do I have this? Where did my phone go? Too much stuff. David was laughing at me about how much stuff that I had here. So I have those of you who had expressed an interest in the charts that I had that were given to me last time. I've got them here, and what I did was I made it randomize your names and then made it draw the names. So for the sheep pattern, Rosie VY is the one who gets the sheep pattern. And for the land pattern, it is Debbie Scheitlin. Is that, I don't know if I'm butchering your name, I totally apologize. The bird pattern is Cynthia Bonds. And the dog pattern is Donna George. So if you all would send me an email at PKA, P as in Paul, IQUEA @gmail.com, I will send me your address and I will ship that off to you. If you are interested in any of these Ort box patterns to stitch on, again, just send me an email, P as in Paul, IQUEA, @gmail.com. And whether you're interested in stitching them or not, I would love your feedback. So again, we've got the burr pattern and the Christmas gift pattern, and then spring, summer, winter, and fall. So I actually came up, I had a little notepad that I started doodling in, and then I took that on vacation with me. While I was at my sister's poolside, I just started, it was in graph format, so I started like just creating it by hand. I was out by her pool. She had a big oak tree, and that's where I started, was with the oak leaf, and then the summertime. And so anyway, I'd love to hear what you think. And I'd like to thank Nancy for really inspiring me to get that done. So anyway, some fun ideas. Each pattern, all the instructions come with the small, the band, and the topper. So I think that's about it for me. I'll say one thing from this summer. You know, every family has its rows and its not getting along with people, and my family and my mom's side certainly has had its share. But I just loved having time to spend with my family, and I reconnected with an uncle who'd kind of estranged himself from our family, and it was just nice to see him. And so I would encourage those of you, you know, life is really, really short, and it's really easy to get mad, and you may be totally right about your mad. We recently had some of that happening with my close family, and you know, life is way too short to let that stand in your way of having the time with those that you love. They've done a lot for you in your life. You've done a lot for them, and they may not appreciate it at the time, but everybody goes through rough patches. And so I pray that all of you find that ability to find mercy and grace for yourselves and for others, and the ability to forgive, because it's a lot better to love and forgive than it is to live with that inside. So with that, thank you for watching, and I look forward to getting your feedback, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.